Have you ever really considered how, what you choose to dwell on or even just what you see profoundly shapes who you are and what you want?
It's a deep question, isn't it?
It really is. I've been thinking about it, and the more I look, the more I see this sort of immense, almost surprising power in our own memories, our recollections.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into something called the Virtue of Righteous Recollection. It's this ancient text.
From an early monastic tradition, yeah. A philosophical, spiritual work.
Right, and it gives this incredibly detailed, almost, well, you said it, almost scientific view on this whole topic. Some really eye-opening stuff in there.
Definitely.
And right off the bat, the text gives us this pretty groundbreaking idea. It encourages us basically to accept without fail words spoken from experience, even if the speaker is unlearned.
That's a powerful starting point. Don't judge the source, judge the experience.
Exactly. And it uses these great analogies to really hit it home. It says, the treasuries of the great kings. They don't despise the addition of a beggar's obol, like a small coin.
Mm-hmm. Even a tiny contribution has value.
Yeah. And also that by little brooks, great rivers are filled. Yeah. And their currents get mighty. So it's telling us that real wisdom, valuable insights, they can come from anywhere, unexpected places.
Right. And that very openness, that willingness to accept insight regardless of the source is kind of key, isn't it? It prepares you for the deeper message.
It sets the stage, for understanding how these insights, once accepted, actually shape us.
Exactly. That initial perspective, it's not just like a nice saying, it's foundational. The whole mission here in this deep dive is really to unpack how that act of remembering or imagining or even just seeing things, how that directly imprints on our minds, how it influences our deepest desires, our actions. It's not passive recall we're talking about.
Right. It's active, like a shaping process.
A constant active shaping of our whole inner world, sometimes without us even, consciously realizing it.
That idea of being imprinted, like clay almost. That's really powerful. So the question then is, okay, what is being imprinted? Does the text get specific about different kinds of memories or recollections?
No, absolutely. It's very direct.
It suggests our minds are constantly being marked, right? Like every thought, every memory leaves its trace. How does it differentiate?
No, it draws a really clear line. It asserts that the recollection of virtuous men renews the desire for virtue within us when we think about them.
Okay, so thinking about good people makes you want to be good. Makes sense.
But then conversely, it says the recollection of the licentious, by which it means, people focused on excess, unrestrained behavior. When we dwell upon them, renews shameful desire.
Wow. So dwelling on, let's say, negative or harmful actions actually stirs up similar desires in us.
That's what it claims. It explains that the memory itself imprints and scribes in our reflections the distinctive nature of the deeds of whoever we're recollecting.
It actually writes it onto our minds.
Yeah, and then it shows us, as with a finger, it says either the shamefulness of what they did or the loftiness of how they lived. It guides our thoughts, our movements belonging either to the right or to the left.
To the right or to the left, like towards good or towards, well, not good.
Precisely. It's a directional pull based on what we're focusing our memory on.
So it's not just about our actions, but even what we choose to think about, who we focus on, that has this direct, almost magnetic effect. It really makes you think about all the stuff we consume digitally.
Oh, definitely.
Like mindlessly scrolling through, I don't know, negative news or gossip. Could that actually be imprinting us in ways we don't even grasp?
The text would certainly suggest so. It was way ahead of its time on understanding the power of influence, you could say.
Yeah, clearly. Does it take it further than just thoughts? Like, does actual seeing things have the same effect?
It does. It reinforces the point explicitly. It states that not only does meditation upon evil harm the man who is engaged in it.
Okay, so thinking bad thoughts hurts you.
But also the sight and the recollection of those who do evil things. So seeing it, remembering it, that also harms.
Wow. Okay.
And the flip side.
Just as powerful. Not only does the working of virtue greatly help him who accomplishes it.
Doing good helps you, naturally.
But he is also helped by the imagination of the mind, which is fashioned from the recollection of the persons who perform virtue.
So just imagining virtuous people recalling their actions, that actively helps us too.
Greatly helps, according to the text. It's about cultivating that internal landscape.
That's quite something. Yeah. Especially that idea of internal visions, sparking joy, as it implies later. I'm wondering, does it give any hints on how someone, an everyday person might actually cultivate these these visions of purity or shift their focus practically. This purity stage sounds important.
Right, and this is where it gets really compelling. It describes this profound stage. It says, those who get near purity, they are said to always behold certain of the saints during the vision of the night, like in dreams. Okay, so they literally see visions of holy figures in their sleep.
That's the description. And then, crucially, during the day, this vision of them, which has been engraved upon their souls, notice that engraved again.
Imprinted, engraved, yeah.
It continuously produces joy through their mind's noetic occupation, which is basically a deep, constant spiritual or intellectual contemplation of those internal visions.
So it's not just a dream. It carries over into their waking thought.
Exactly. It creates this powerful feedback loop. Constant internal focus on these virtuous ideals, maybe starting unconsciously in dreams, doesn't just lead to good thoughts.
It does more.
It actually fuels this burning, active desire to live that virtue. It makes them ardently approach the work of virtue because, as it says, a great flame of desire for virtue descends upon them.
A great flame of desire. That's incredible imagery. So, okay, let's just recap a bit. We've talked about this profound active role that memory recollection, this inner vision, plays in actually shaping our desires and our actions. This ancient text is basically saying our minds are constantly being imprinted, like that sculptor with clay idea. Every thought, memory, observation leaves a mark, subtly but powerfully shaping us.
That's the core idea, yes.
So to really hammer it home, how does the text emphasize the intensity of this, the strength of this imprinting?
Well, it really doubles down on that contrast. It stresses that recollecting virtuous people genuinely renews the desire for virtue. It rekindles it.
Okay.
While dwelling on the licentious absolutely renews shameful desire, it's presented as a direct, almost inevitable consequence of where you focus your mind.
So it's not just theory, it's about our deepest inner drives, those movements.
Exactly. The memory literally imprints and scribes, writes it down. In our reflections, the distinctive nature of the deeds, guiding our thoughts, as we said, to the right or to the left, it's presented as a very active, formative thing happening inside us.
So our mind is like this canvas, constantly getting painted by what we choose to remember, or even just what we bump into.
That's a good way to put it. And it seems it's not just about intentional focus either.
Right, you mentioned even casual exposure.
Precisely. The text is clear. Not only does meditation upon evil harm, but also the sight and the recollection of those who do evil things. Just seeing it, just remembering it casually, has a negative impact.
And conversely.
Conversely, the imagination of the mind, which is fashioned from the recollection of the persons who perform virtue, greatly helps. And for those approaching that state of purity, it becomes even more intense.
With the visions.
Right. The visions of saints, whether in dreams or through that waking noetic occupation, that deep contemplation, they become engraved upon their souls.
Wow. Engraved.
And that engraving produces this persistent joy, which then fuels that ardent approach to virtue. It's like a positive feedback loop. This great flame of desire descends. It's a continuous self-reinforcing cycle of inner cultivation.
Okay. So this brings us to a really provocative final thought, doesn't it? If our desires, if our actual inner direction, those movements belonging either to the right or to the left, are so profoundly shaped to what's in our minds. You know, what we remember, what we see, what we imagine. What does that imply for us today? What might it mean for us to consciously try and curate our internal landscape?
To choose what gets imprinted.
Yeah. How might this ancient wisdom challenge our sort of modern habits? You know, the constant stream of information, images, the stuff we consume, often without thinking.
Right, the endless scroll.
Does it encourage us, perhaps, to be much more active in seeking out and dwelling on the things that truly elevate us? What gets engraved on our souls?